Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by Boston Hemp Inc. Thursday, June 13th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and great to have our friend Luke Adam back in the house with us as well. We are getting ready for Game 3 in the Stanley Cup Final. We'll find out if we actually have a fucking series on our hands, quite honestly, after tonight, because this is essentially a must-have game for the Edmonton Oilers, trailing 2-0 here in this series. Looking forward to Game 3 tonight. We'll break that down in a moment. We'll recap Game 2 at the same time as well, give our thoughts on what we saw Monday night with these teams. And, of course, bargain bin special, best bet, all that. But I also want to point out before we get into that tonight is Betcast night. And it's been a while, believe it or not, since we've had a live Betcast. But we are back with one tonight for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific, which is, of course, when the game begins. We're on for the entire game. It is a free Betcast tonight. Anyone can join. And again, if you want to join us on the Betcast tonight, just DM or email Alex or me, and we will send you the link for the Betcast before it begins tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You know the deal. Watching the game, live betting, shooting the shit, bar and pub vibe. Always a lot of fun. On the Betcast, and the champ is going to be in the house tonight. That's right, our good friend Jordan Sambrook, now two-time ECHL Kelly Cup champion with the Florida Everblades. They got it done against the Kansas City Mavericks in Game 5 over the weekend. Jordan will be in the house for a bit during the Betcast tonight, so we'll have another Kelly Cup celebration, if you will. We'll definitely do some shots, Alex, to the Kelly Cup winner, won't we?
For
sure.
100. Absolutely.
Yeah. Any reason to drink sounds good to us. There's no question. So we'll have Jordan with us for a bit on the Betcast, some other guests potentially on the radar as well. So looking forward to the Betcast tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Before we get into actually anything to do with the Panthers and the Oilers, couple news items. Ryan Warsofsky, the new head coach of the San Jose Sharks, just basically elevating him from the assistant role, which he had under David Quinn, and now making him the head coach. I believe now making him the youngest head coach in the NHL. He's younger than me, which tells you how freaking old I'm getting. But nevertheless, 36 years old, just a baby as far as coaching is concerned. Ryan Warsofsky, someone that has actually, I think, gotten to a point where he's put in the time. He's put in the years coaching. He coached in the ECHL as a head coach for a couple of years, coached the Chicago Wolves in the American Hockey League, including a Calder Cup championship when he was there. I was with the Charlotte Checkers for a bit, then got to the NHL as an assistant for David Quinn in San Jose. So this is a guy that's worked his way up the ladder, if you will. So he's earned that opportunity. I would not wish that job on anybody because he has got his work cut out for him. That is a massive rebuild that is going to take time, that is going to go through some pain, some agony, some blues for potentially a few years before they even get close to being ready to be a playoff team in San Jose. But he does get to walk into a situation where, you know, they're going to draft Macklin Celebrini with the number 1 overall pick. You're going to be able to be part of building something from the ground up. And I know that's definitely something that a lot of people that are really ambitious, they take on a challenge like this and they don't shy away from it. You know, as Mike Tomlin, the great head coach of the Steelers, always says, you smile in the face of adversity. And, you know, I think that's what Ryan Warsofsky is probably going to try to do here. Hey, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. We're going to go through some really rough times here, especially in the early going. But I actually give it a thumbs up higher right now. What else can you do if you're San Jose? It's a hard job to attract, you know, bona fide names that have coached before, like bigger names. I mean, you know, it's harder to attract, you know, some of the coaches that are still, maybe even Jay Woodcroft punted on this because I heard they show some interest in him, but apparently the interest from his end was not necessarily reciprocated as much I don't think Woodcroft wants to be part of a rebuild, quite honestly, because he was part of a team that was this close to winning something big in Edmonton. But I think for Warsofsky, look, it's a great opportunity as far as his first NHL head coaching job, but it is definitely going to be work and potentially some rough patches and bumpy roads along the way. But nevertheless, like I say, this is a guy that's coached in the ECHL, AHL, including winning a Calder Cup's been an assistant now for 2 years in San Jose. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. He's got experience. He's young. It's something different. I'm always going to give an initial thumbs up to giving a younger coach an opportunity, not recycling the same old fucking dinosaurs and out of touch old coaches, old heads, that we've seen in the past. So I like it. Alex, what do you think? Ryan Warsofsky in San Jose.
Yeah, I like the move as well. Like you said, getting a young coach and getting a coach who can build his own culture now. Like this is a clean slate. And how oftentimes do you get a chance to have a clean slate as a young guy with an NHL franchise? You can set this up however you want. You could be here for 20 years if you put this thing together properly. And Mike Grier is going to give him that leeway. Like I said, there's a lot they have to build upon, but have this kind of a chance here. It's a good opportunity, and I think it's well deserved. Like I said, he did a great job in Chicago, winning a Calder Cup, getting to 2 Calder Cups in that time, coaching his brother at one point in that span as well. And so just kind of being able to build off of a winning culture. David Quinn, like I think, got thrown into the fire, and I don't think that's really his spot. He was a good hire at the time because of his experience working with younger guys and college players. But I think he's gotten to a level now where Quinn, I'm sure he wanted to be with a more established team if he's going to be a head coach or even an assistant in the NHL. So I think this is a good hire. Somebody that, you can give, at least some give him some extended time. Give him 3 years, 4 years before you really kind of criticize what he's doing. Because like I said, not just him at this point. You got to rebuild the entire personnel on the ice. You got to retool a lot of different things. You got to deal with eventually a new arena coming at some point. So there's a lot of other issues that are going on with San Jose where at least now you have an established young coach who I think can prove himself at this level. And like I said, you're not going through the old recycling phase and having guys who are going to be frustrated about how slow this rebuild might be for San Jose.
Absolutely. Luke, what did you think there of the San Jose hire?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I seen that this morning. It goes back to the recycling thing. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of, bringing back guys. But I guess every situation is different. I love that hire for them. I mean, he's used to working with younger players. Obviously, American League's a younger league, especially now. East Coast League, younger league. So, I mean, he's used to working with those guys, and he's had success working with those guys. And that should be enough, to just give them a chance. And I mean, I love when they bring in new guys in the league. And what do they have to lose at this point? I mean, they have a lot of great prospects in that system. Like you said, there is a major rebuild there, but they're on their way. They got some good pieces that are signed. They got the first overall pick coming in. I played with Gierzy, and he's such a great hockey mind. So, I mean, I know he's going to do a great job there. And like Alex said, it's a fresh slate, clean slate for them, and I really like the hire, especially for that organization and the spot they're in, and give them a few years to work and grow with this team, and if he has success in whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully, I wish him all the best for sure. I love it.
That it's a little bit of a career arc here for San Jose and for Ryan Warsofsky personally. Mm-hmm. San Jose's trying to work their way up and trying to build something from the ground up. Ryan Warsofsky's trying to build an NHL head coaching career for himself from the ground up. So, I like that there's that little symmetry, if you will, between him getting this particular job in San Jose. As far as other news and notes, just briefly, in the NHL, apparently there's a trade request for Lyon that we're hearing online as well. He wants a new fresh start with Columbus. Now, look, I know he's getting raked over the coals by people about he wanted out of Winnipeg. Okay, now he wants out of Columbus. Is this just a problem child, if you will, malcontent, if you will, just doesn't get his way and wants out and wants to bolt? Let's keep in mind he has had some significant, behind the scenes, struggles with mental health, apparently, is what we're hearing. So let's be a little bit sympathetic out there, to people that are just quick to. And I know the Jacket fans upset. I get it. It's someone you invested in, you traded for him, a few years ago. with Winnipeg, and you thought he was going to be a big piece to an eventual turnaround with your franchise. But, you do have to be a little bit sympathetic to the situation he's in as well, with behind the scenes and what he's been dealing with. So that's something to monitor as well moving forward. No question about that. All right, let's get into the Cup. The Cup final, Florida and Edmonton. Just quickly, thoughts on Game 2 on Monday night. Clearly a much better game from the Florida Panthers. There's no question about that. They played a lot better. We know they got outshot, outchanced, outplayed, and really it was Sergei Bobrovsky that ended up stealing the show in Game 1. Main reason Florida won that game. Definitely a much better and more complete effort from the Panthers in Game 2. They carried the play this time. They capitalized on their chances. What's shocking about this whole series is Sergei Bobrovsky's been almost unbeatable, impenetrable, and the one goal he's given up in 2 games is maybe the softest Dairy Queen goal you'll ever see. Any goal he give up, especially him. I mean, I was almost shocked when I saw it that Matthias Ekholm goal, went right through the wickets like that. But other than that, he certainly rebounded. He was immense in the second period and in the third period when Edmonton was trying to mount a comeback. And who thought the goal-scoring star for the Florida Panthers in the first 2 games of this series would be Evan Rodriguez? And this is a guy we thought was percolating on scoring some goals last round when he was snake bit and the puck wasn't going in. Well, some of those goals, Alex, that should have went in the Boston series, and the Rangers series, they're starting to go in now for Evan Rodriguez. 2 goals in Game 2, tremendous shot, although beautiful assist by Evan Bouchard there. You just put the puck right on the tape of Evan Rodriguez, and then just a nice shot over the shoulder of Skinner there, and then a beautiful redirection on the power play. And who would have thought in 2 games, too? That tells you why Edmonton's down 2-0 in this series. Florida's got the only power play goal in the series so far. If you would have said that to me, I'm like, this is exactly where I thought this series would be after 2 games. You're going to tell me Florida has the only power play goal in the first 2 games? I'll tell you what the series would be. 2-0 Panthers. Exactly as it is right now. 0-for-7 for Edmonton on the power play in the first 2 games. And the Florida power play goal by Evan Rodriguez, by the way, snapped, 34 straight penalty kills for the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. That's really the difference. Bobrovsky's been great. The power play for Edmonton has not done anything. And I think at 5-on-5, Florida's will, and again, winning puck battles and the physicality, and they have just worn down Edmonton the longer the game's gone on. So credit to them, a nice victory there. It got a little rough, a little nasty. The Foegele ejection from that game, I understand Edmonton a little upset because earlier we saw Bennett take the run that he did at an Edmonton player with the knee as well, and there was nothing there. And then, of course, they end up giving Foegele the 5-minute major for the knee contact there on Luostarinen. And then, of course, later in the game was the head hit by Draisaitl on Barkov that got Panthers fans a little bit upset. No suspension for Leon Draisaitl. I don't mind it. I've seen worse. And by the way, Barkov's good to go. We'll get to that when we preview Game 3. He was on the ice for practice yesterday, on the ice for the morning skate today, and will be in the lineup for the Panthers tonight in Game 3. So all of that, and, I'm okay. I can live with Leon Draisaitl not getting the suspension there for the Edmonton Oilers there with that situation, especially knowing that Barkov's okay. Alex, I want to hit on his point that he made after that game too. Tonight and moving forward, if you're number 97, Connor McDavid, you got to make your impact in this series. It's really that simple. You have to. If you're going to be placed in this unbelievable group of all-time great players, Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Guy Lafleur, if you're going to be placed with all of those all-time greats, you've got to produce in the final and you got to win a Stanley Cup. What's the common thread with all of those guys? They won a Stanley Cup, at least one. Every single one of that group I just named, every single player won a Stanley Cup. And you know what those guys also did when they won the Stanley Cup? You know what they did in the final? They produced. Gretzky produced. Ovechkin produced. Crosby produced. Orr produced. Orr scored a fucking overtime winner in 1970 to win a Stanley Cup. You don't have to tell me he didn't produce, or he produced. Of course he did. He produced one of the biggest goals in NHL history. Gordie Howe produced. Mario Lemieux produced in the final. Jagr did. All these guys, they not only won a cup, they produced in the final. They got it done. They scored big goals. They had big moments. They got it done in big pressure packed spots. Eyes on you now, Connor McDavid. You want to be known as the greatest player in the sport right now. It's time to deliver. And I don't want to hear chances. I don't want to hear shots on goal. I don't want to hear, he almost put that one in. No, 1 point in 2 games for a guy that's supposed to be as incredible as this guy is, just not nearly good enough. And it's time for him to step up the game here starting tonight. Alex, I know you back me 100% on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, in order to be still in this conversation from here on out, you have to deliver at this point. You've gotten to the top of the mountain. Now you plant the flag. And if you can't do that, then we have to not mention you in those conversations. You're just another great regular season player. And there's thousands of those. And don't get me wrong, we're not shitting on any of the people who've played great regular seasons and couldn't show up in the playoffs. But that's the bargain, the bin that we put you in now. We don't put you in that elite superstar status at this point. If you can't just completely, the no-shows he's already had in the playoffs, right, are significant enough. But now we're overcoming that because you've already gotten to a cup final appearance. But if you can't deliver here, and now we add up all the body of the work of the playoffs, what does that say amongst the elite, even in just this, let's just go this century. We don't even have to go back to the 90s or 80s or anything. Just go from 2000 on. You're not even in that bunch right now. If you can't step up and bring this team along with you for one game, and especially tonight, being at home with your crowd behind you and a crazy travel spot at that. So game 2, it was a disaster. And I talked about it before, how I said, Edmonton's got to realize, okay, this is our first foray into this highest of level. And we're on the road, so the travel's a little spotty. Okay, game 1, couldn't get anything rolling. Bobrovsky, we got bobbed. That's fine. Now show up and play with more energy and deliver in game 2. They didn't. And they got frustrated. That's where we saw the frustration. Why is Leon Draisaitl hitting anybody in the third period? You should be trying to score goals. You should be trying to set up your teammates, get back in the game, get on the board. And here he is hitting Barkov with a dirty shot. I agree, should not be suspended. You suspend him, you're pretty much giving the series damn near away to Florida. Should have been fined. I don't quite understand how you don't get fined for that spot, especially when 2 other guys in that game get the maximum fine for dirty hits as well. So don't quite get that, but that's the NHL, the whole player safety. It's just a coin flip with that. But still, those guys are getting frustrated. You could see it visibly, and like I said, the not converting on the power play. That's frustrating for them. But you have to be able to weather that storm. And like I said, everything's not going to come clean and easy like it does during the regular season, even how it did certain times during the playoffs. This is a Florida team that mucks things up. And you think Edmonton would know that off of game 1. It seemed like they didn't make those adjustments. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning of the series preview. The coaching edge is huge. Paul Maurice and Knobloch, they're not on the same plane. Okay, and Knobloch's a good coach. He's going to be there one day. But Paul Maurice, and like you said, with all the body of work, and for him knowing that the cup is this close to him, he's coaching his ass off, and rightfully so. And all his staff members are right along with it. So, Edmonton's got a lot to do, and it's not all just, they're falling apart. This is another, ho-hum Edmonton spot. It's just that they have a juggernaut in front of them. The Florida Panthers are simply just a better team right now than the Edmonton Oilers.
And that's the way it's been 100% through the first 2 games. And Paul Maurice with another press conference gem, of course. He's had so many of them in these playoffs with this isn't the Oprah Winfrey show. My feelings don't matter. Talking about the Draisaitl hit on Barkov the other night, wouldn't reveal his true feelings about that hit, and kept everything close to the vest. But I like the little Oprah reference there from Paul Maurice. Luke, what did you think of game 2, the series so far as well, with Florida up 2-0?
Yeah, it's obviously game 1, I think Edmonton played a great game, got goalied by Bob. That is what it is at that point. They probably got away with one in game 6. Connor even said it, I think, in an interview after, the hockey gods kind of paying us back there for they didn't deserve to beat Dallas in that game and won that. And that's just playoff hockey, and that's how that goes. But game 2, when it was 1-1, I thought, and then even when Florida scored to make it 2-1, I thought Edmonton was going to push it to overtime. I truly did. I just thought it was they knew how big of a game it was, and Florida just blocks it down so well. Like once they get the lead, they play so well, and Bob's playing so well in net right now, and he's on a mission himself, and they were there last year. They got the feeling of losing, and they don't want that feeling again. But that being said, I think Edmonton feels confident, and I think they feel like they're just as in this series right now as they were before it started. Might be hard to believe being down 2-0, but I think the guys they have in there, I mean, you mentioned Connor, obviously. I think he has a big game tonight. I think, I mean, like you said, he has to. Him and Leon, those are big guys. Hyman has 14 goals in the playoffs. He hasn't had a goal yet. He's a guy I expect fully to step up tonight too, score. That power play hasn't been clicking like it has. No power play goals. I expect that to be better tonight. The crowd, I expect to be crazy. So I think, I mean, I'm on Edmonton tonight, but I don't think they are feeling like this series is over. If I was in that dressing room, I would feel, just as confident. Yeah, Florida's a great team, great coach, but at the same time, Edmonton's there for a reason too, and those reasons they haven't been shown in the first two games. It'd be different if they had 4 power play goals and Connor had 8 points in 2 games, and then they were down 2-0. Then they would be thinking like, okay, now we're in trouble because we're clicking on all cylinders and we're still losing. Yeah. But they haven't been, and so I think they're confident going into tonight. Obviously, this is a huge game for them. You don't want to go to 3-0, and the old saying it holds true. I mean, the series isn't over till you lose at home, and I think that home ice advantage is huge in Edmonton, and they've played well there all playoffs, and I expect a great game again tonight.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you there. It never feels like the series is really done until the home team loses. And but I will tell you this: it'll feel done to me if they lose tonight, 100%.
Yeah, for sure,
no question. And this is, like I said, for the Edmonton Oilers, this is a must get. So here it is, Game 3, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, live betcast tonight. We will be on the air for the entire game, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Free betcast. So make sure you join us if you're able to. Game 3 tonight, Stanley Cup Final. The scene shifting to Rogers Place in Edmonton. The Panthers and Oilers. Edmonton minus 135. Home favorites. 5.5 the total, shaded to the under. Florida leading, of course, the series 2-0. Lineups for tonight. The big question for Florida, the status of the captain, Alexander Barkov. He was on the ice for morning skate. He's going to be in the lineup tonight in his regular spot. Evan Rodriguez, Sam Reinhart. It looks like alongside him, Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Tkachuk on the second line. E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, Vladimir Tarasenko, third line. Stephen Lawrence, Kevin Stenlund, and Kyle Okposo, the fourth line. No changes on the blue line. Forsling Ekblad, Mikola Montour, and Ekman Larson with Kulikov on the back end. For Edmonton, coming into this game, there was wonder if Evander Kane was going to suit up for them. And last I checked, it was on the fence, and now I'm seeing the latest line combinations here for the Oilers. Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman stays the same. Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman. McLeod, Draisaitl, and Holloway apparently is going to be the second line tonight, so a little bit of a bump for McLeod. Matthias Janmark, Adam Henrique, Connor Brown apparently on the third line. It looks like Sam Carrick has been taken back out. Derek Ryan remains out. And from what I'm seeing with Evander Kane, the latest absence is that he's questionable right now for Game 3. And so we'll see how this goes. Cody Cece's not playing up front. He's not playing as forward. That was just for morning skate so that they could put someone out there. My guess is if Kane is not good to go, Carrick or Ryan, one of those guys is going to come into the lineup for Edmonton. But Kane is on the fence. And Perry, it looks like, is back in the lineup tonight. For the Edmonton Oilers as well. So Corey Perry, who has really not done a whole lot in the playoffs, quite honestly. I know he's getting up there, and Father Time waits for nobody. Maybe this is just, Father Time knocking on Corey Perry's door right now saying, you're not going to be able to, have a huge, massive monster playoff season year in and year out at your age anymore. But they are going to go back to Perry here. And it looks like on the blue line, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Desharnais, Kulak, and Broberg. And Cece probably remains out again on the blue line for Edmonton tonight. As far as this one goes, look, for Edmonton, what do we know? They've got to come out strong. the first 20 minutes is imperative. Play from ahead for a change, in this series. Now they did in game 2, but they never added to the lead. It was 1-0, and they never got that second goal. It's not only play from in front for Edmonton, but get the second goal too. Make it a 2-goal game, and then you drag Florida into a place where they have no choice but to open up the game. And if they have to open up the game, that plays into Edmonton's hands. It just does, with their speed, obviously, and the game breakers that they have. But they've never put Florida in a spot yet in this series, Edmonton, where they've had to force Florida to come out of their shell. But if you get a 2-goal lead or more tonight, you will. So that is going to be the key here for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, as far as game 3 is concerned. You've got to be able to get out front early. You've got to be able to not only get the lead, but maybe go up by 2 and really put Florida in a little bit of a more pressure-packed situation. That's going to end up being the key. Alex will hit on this more, I'm sure. The travel situation for Florida yesterday, it was a mess. It was a shit show. It was downpour and torrential rain at Fort Lauderdale Airport. It delayed the departure of the flight. They didn't get into Edmonton until, I think, 8:30 or 9 p.m. Eastern time last night, which would be 6:30, 7 p.m. local time in Edmonton. Now, it could have been worse. I was starting to think maybe late night in Edmonton or overnight they'd be getting there. So actually, all things considered, wasn't nearly as bad. This isn't the huge conundrum I think it could have been with Florida as far as the travel is concerned. But, it still pushed them back a little bit on their schedule. The good news is I believe they did get into practice before they departed there in Florida in the morning. So that's key. They at least got on the ice and they were able to do that. If they had all these travel issues and issues with the flight without having a practice and without getting on the ice yesterday, it probably would have made things a little more difficult. I think this is basically, look, it's been an under series. It could stay an under series. That totally wouldn't shock me. We saw 3-0 and 4-1 in the first 2 games. Bobrovsky's been excellent. It's not, Skinner hasn't really been that bad either. It's tough to say that there's going to be one game in this series when you see the way the first 2 games went that's going to be higher scoring. But I think if there's a spot for it to happen, it's tonight as far as goals. Tonight would be that night. So I do like over trifecta. Over 1.5, over 5.5 full game, little both teams to score first period. What I especially like is Edmonton to score in the first period. I don't want the puck line. Just give me Edmonton minus 145 at BetMGM to score a goal in the first period. I think that's just a safer way to go about it. I don't have to worry if Florida gets on the scoreboard in that opening period. Just give me the one goal that I think Edmonton desperately needs in that opening period with that building rocking. You know what it's like with the guy. His name escapes me. The bald-headed guy that's up there singing the anthem in the crowd. He's got his Oilers jersey on. It's a wonderful thing. It gets the crowd totally into the game right away. There's no question about that. And then the crowd will be amped right from the opening puck drop. Edmonton's got to feed off that and get 1, if not 2 goals in that opening period. But at least get the 1. I do like the minus 145 for Edmonton to score a goal in the first period, along with that Edmonton the first period over, full game over, and a little bit on the both teams to score first period as well. Maybe even a little 2-0 or 2-1 Edmonton correct score sprinkle as well for me in the opening period as well. Because that's asking a lot with the way Florida defends. I get that. And we've talked all year about how great Florida's been on the road, and we know Bobrovsky's in incredible form right now, but it's a must for Edmonton to lead. If this is scoreless after the first period, I mean, that building gets tight. Florida gets confidence. And Luke said it to us when we were talking before the show, and I'll reiterate it. All series long, Florida's gotten better in the second period than the first period and better in the third period than the second period. They have just been a consistent team of getting better and stronger as the game goes on. And it wouldn't shock me to see more of that here tonight as well. Alex, game 3, what do you think? Florida-Edmonton.
Yeah, so, before the series started, I liked the first period over in game 1 and game 3. And I said, that's just something I kind of already look for in any Stanley Cup final matchup, just off of the intensity of the crowd. Sometimes you get a little bit, sometimes jitters, be it home or road. You just have some kind of sloppier play in the first 20 minutes. And then you end up having, goals scored in that span. But now, of course, you add in the travel. Just the general distance is long enough to where, you certainly pause for question. We always talk about that during the regular season. But then you add to the fact that the team waited until after having a practice And knowing that there was going to be a ton of rain, now obviously they weren't expecting what's now been, I think, 12 to 15 inches of rain in the southern Florida area. But to wait until that day to even fly out, and then you're on the tarmac, not only just waiting 3-hour delay, but you're on the plane in the tarmac for about an hour and a half before you take off for a 5-hour flight. Land in Edmonton, it's a 35-minute drive from the airport to the downtown area. So you add that in as well. That's going to just wear anybody out. Like that's just a long day of travel. I don't care how in shape you are, how nice the travel is, how great the plane and the food and all that. That's a long fucking day, plain and simple. So to have that, now you have to kind of bounce back and get ready for a game. And like I said, the time difference is there, the 2-hour time difference. Florida may not come out that sharp in the first period. And we know that they normally don't come out sharp in the first period. So in saying that and knowing that Edmonton, you have to establish the dominance in the first 20 minutes because you could lose this series in the first period. If you give Florida chances and Florida goes up 2-0 and you take the air out of that building, this thing is over with. And it's done Saturday night. But if you can at least weather the storm early, whatever Florida delivers, get possession, puck possession, get everything on your side, get all the momentum running on your end if you're Edmonton. That's what you need, but you have to do it early in the first 20 minutes. You have to establish that right away. So I like that first period over. It's plus money damn near everywhere. So by all means, please get plus money. I haven't played it. Plus 106 yesterday, and I will be adding a little bit more on the betcast tonight, something around plus 115, plus 120 early, because like I said, this is one of those games where I don't even want to wait around and jump in. I'm going to have something in pocket. We could see a goal here in the first couple of minutes, and I think that's really what Edmonton needs. If you like goal in the first 5 minutes, that might be something I would look to sprinkle on. If you think Edmonton's going to win this game, by all means, you should go with first period puck line, lay that 145 like Ian mentioned with Edmonton to score a goal. They have to win the game starting with the first period. There's no way you're going to have this team go down and then try to make a comeback. I just don't see that in them. But based on how they responded late in game 2, showing that kind of loss of composure, and if you get down early, it's going to be tenfold with that. And then if you start getting into the scrums, and like you said, mucking it up and all the dirty play after whistles, now you're playing right into Florida's hand. Because now you end up with a Draisaitl and McDavid in the penalty box instead of being out there on the ice. Mega advantage to Florida. So that's the thing for Florida. What you have to do is just completely rattle them. Play your game, suffocate them. Don't let anything open. Break up all the passes, especially in your own zone, and try to get a chance, get a 2-on-1, try to convert something and get a goal early to take the air out of that building. That's the way Florida can try to win this game and, like I said, potentially win this series if they come out hot. So everything rides on the first 20 minutes of play. I do like the over 5.5 as well. I grabbed that. I laid $1.05 with that. Obviously, shop around. You want to get anything in the pick a price. If you can get plus money, by all means, go for that. I think this will be the highest scoring game, probably this entire series. And like I said, it has to be if Edmonton stands a chance here. You cannot have an Oiler team with this offense that we've been talking about since October go 2 games in this spot and only have 1 goal. And like you said, be 0-for-7 on the power play. It's simply unacceptable. And if this team really wants to stand and deliver tonight, this is it. This is the make or break game for the Edmonton Oilers. So first period over, 1.5 plus money, full game over 5.5 minus $1.05. Those are the 2 things I have for right now. And I will be looking for a player prop a little bit later on.
Yeah, I'll get to player props at the end after we hear from both Matt, who's joined us now, and Luke Adam as well. I do want to mention a couple SGPs that I'm on. I'm on both ends of the spectrum with it. So Florida plus 2.5, Edmonton plus 2.5, over 3.5 is one of them. And again, that's a pretty good price, minus 120. I'm also going to the opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm going Florida plus 2.5, Edmonton plus 2.5, under 7.5 with minus 140 for that one. So I got a couple of those going as well. We'll get to props in a moment. Bargain bin, I'm switching it up. I've used Sam Bennett the last 2 games. I still did bet Sam Bennett to score tonight, but I'm going to change it up as far as the bargain bin special selection for game 3 tonight is concerned. All right, let's go to Matt Robinson. He is here with us, and contrary to the haters in the chat, Matt Robinson is not going to failing to be on the show the rest of the season because the Dallas Stars have been knocked out. That's not the case. We've only had a couple of shows, and I think the one time he was actually scheduled to be on, he couldn't make it. So it's got nothing to do with these pounding his face into the pillow and just shutting off the world because Dallas is out now. That's not the case. He's here, and he's ready to rock. Matt, what do you think here for Game 3?
Yeah, and by the way, I do think I was on the series pregame show with Jimmy Murphy. So that was obviously after the Stars lost to Edmonton. So
I couldn't believe it the last show, Matt.
Rumors
the Game
that
2 on Monday. I saw, where's Dallas boy? Someone said, like, just the vitriol, guys. Calm down. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, come on. There's only like 2 shows a week right now. You got to get other guests on. So, no, excited to be here. Excited for this game. Excited to join the Betcast tonight. Obviously, yeah. I won't reiterate too much of what you guys said, but I think this is obviously a make or break game for Edmonton, or the series will end on Saturday night. I lean that way, just given what I've seen so far. And to me, I think in Game 2, you started to see some real frustration out of Edmonton, and that's what Florida does to these teams. There was some missed calls both ways. There was obviously controversy on social media over some of the instances that happened during the game, but I think at the end of the day, Florida, that's their game plan, and they're 4 lines deep. I think I was watching Game 1 Saturday night, and like in the third period, Matty T had like 13 minutes ice time. Like they don't have to overuse their players. They're just a deep team that's just rolling lines and playing well. So, and obviously when you've got Bob in net giving up one very questionable goal, but giving up 1 goal in 2 games, you're gonna win a lot of series doing that. So I think Edmonton will have some pushback, which is why I do love the first period and game total over both plus price. I got the game over at plus 105, the first period over at plus 100. So I really like that, but I just think this Florida team's too deep. I don't know that I want to lay minus 135 with them on the road, because I wouldn't be shocked if Edmonton wins tonight. I had that reverse, but I think what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to split it up. I'm going to take Florida plus 115, but then a little safety net. I'm going to take Florida team total over 2.5 minus 120. That way, on the off chance this is a 4-3 game, I still get my money back. And then the plus money is obviously negated. And then we'll look for some live looks. And then as far as player props, I know we'll get to bargain bin here in a bit, so I'll save that for then. But yeah, I lean Florida here. It wouldn't shock me if Edmonton does pull one off, but before the series, I called Florida in 5, I think moments after Edmonton beat Dallas. And it's looking like it could be that way, or it may be sooner. So we'll see what Edmonton's made of. They just haven't really, I mean, there's been short stretches, but it's just clear who the better team has been so far. And, I'm not going to bet against that until I'm proven otherwise.
So I think the way it's set up so far is Alex and I have a little bit more, slightly more confidence in Edmonton, but not a boatload, that's for sure. And Matt's a little more, hey, I'm not totally sold that Edmonton's just going to skate into their home ice here and make it a 2-1 series here tonight in Game 3. Luke, I know you've got some creative ways to attack this game tonight. What do you think, Game 3?
Yeah, I think. I'm on Edmonton tonight just because I feel like it's a must-win game, and in this situation, it's either make or break. So if they're going to win a game, I think it's going to be this one, and then you kind of reevaluate after that. But a couple just different ways. I'm on Edmonton to win, and then both. I don't like it at minus 135, minus 140, minus 145. Some sites. I'm on Oilers to win and both teams to score 1 goal, and that's at plus 160. I really like that. I mean, I think both teams are going to score a goal tonight, and then essentially you just need Edmonton to pull out the win, and you're in plus money. If you want to get a little greedier, you go both teams to score 2 goals and Edmonton to win. I have that, and that's plus 350. So I might sprinkle a little bit on that one too, but I'm going to go mostly on Oilers to win and both teams to score, and then obviously, like we've always been talking, I'm on the Ice Guys special in the reverse over 3.5 and both teams plus 2.5. I feel like we've had some success with that one throughout the playoffs.
I can vouch for Luke. He unloaded on one of them. I saw it. Like he really went in on one of those plus 2.5 under SGP. Now he's doing the over tonight, but for the most part, it's been the under. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the under in game 1 and 2, and both, both games ended in 3 goals. So that's kind of the first time, I think, 2 games in a row that it didn't hit. So hopefully tonight. I just think it's going to be an over game. I mean, I don't mind the under 7.5, but I can also see this being, it might get out of hand either way. So, and then I got some nice player bets there, but I can wait for that.
Yeah, player props. Just briefly, save the bargain bin one that you've chosen, Luke and Matt and Alex. I'll just say that I'm on Bennett to score a goal again. I got to be on Rodriguez now. He's done it. Like, hopefully it's not a day late with this, but I mean, he's playing on the top line with Barkov, who's just Mr. Assist, Mr. Brilliant Passer as well, not just great defender. So Rodriguez worth a look. No question about that. I think Gus Forsling, I've got just a weird feel for him that he might strike tonight on the back end for the Florida Panthers, because I think he got a big goal in New York, I remember, in the last round. And then for Edmonton, I'll save my bargain bin special choice is from Edmonton. I'll save him for the that segment. But Holloway I'm going to sprinkle on tonight because he's on the second line. McLeod's moving up to the second line. We'll look in that direction. And both of the blue liners. Bouchard had a rough night defensively in game 2. Like he put the puck right on Rodriguez's stick, for crying out loud, for the 2-1 goal. I mean, that was just terrible. And then he was beaten, basically on the third goal that also was scored by Rodriguez. So definitely I'm thinking that Bouchard has a strong bounce back tonight and maybe scores a goal as well. And then Ekholm as well, just because he's been shooting the puck a lot from the blue line. I don't mind Lundell, Dave in the chat, Lundell, because I think he's capable and he's been shooting the puck a little bit more. I don't mind that as a little bit of a value. Bennett, I'm not going away from that. And I do have an Edmonton Oiler for the bargain bin, and I'll get to that in a moment for sure. All right, good stuff. We'll get to the bargain bin special in just a moment. Luke, any props outside of the bargain bin that you have?
I got a couple power play point props. I think Edmonton's got to score 10 on the power play. I thought Nuge and Hyman at plus 200 on the power play. I think that's pretty good value just for a point. I mean, I think if they score on the power play, those guys are probably going to be involved, especially Hyman. I think he needs to score a couple goals. Bouchard plus 150, also power play point, another guy that I was kind of looking for a little bit of value. I think Connor was like minus 120 for point on the power play, and Leon was like even money. So I got a couple in on Hyman, Nuge, and Bouchard just for a power play point. And then I'm on Bennett too for a goal, plus 400. Then I got another one there for the bargain bin.
All right, and that's coming up. But first, we want to remind you, BetCast tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're on the air for Game 3. Free BetCast, so anyone can join us. Send an email or DM to me or Alex for a spot on the BetCast, and we'll send you the link before it begins. Should be a great turnout. We got Jordan Sambrook joining us, fresh off a Kelly Cup championship. I'm looking forward to toasting that. We can get our drink on too, toasting that championship. We're looking forward to that for sure. That's coming up. Game 3 tonight, Panthers and Oilers, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us tonight on the BetCast. And make sure you sign up to patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Daily sides, totals, and player props posted. Goalie charts, totals charts, off-season content. Alex and I, after the season's over, we're going to give you the Q&A finally segment. We're going to give you, obviously, the free agency show. That's going to be on Patreon this year. So we got lots of off-season content planned. So make sure you're still on board through the summer months, even though the NHL season is winding down. $10 per month, patreon.com/IceGuys. And also check out the Ice Guys store. Get your gear and your merch there. And a reminder, too, with the Ice Guys store, a situation where 15% off all items for the next, 4 days now. At the Ice Guys store. So make sure you check that out, iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Yeah, we got just about everything back in stock. The caps are still coming back. We're going to be around by the weekend, but all the shirts, all the hoodies, everything else, all the new summer items that we have in store as well, all available. And for the next 4 days, as Ian mentioned, 15% off. Go to iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Click on the redeem button at the top of the page, add everything in your cart, and the 15% will be taken out of the total. So check that out right now at the Ice Guys. So it's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, we got bargain bin special tonight and best bets coming up right after our sponsor. All right. Boston Hemp Inc. Make sure you check them out. Get 20% off all orders on the website using the promo code IceGuys at bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night for Game 3. And this is the night, to experiment with goal props, because if there's one game, it's probably still going to be a low-scoring series overall. But if there's one game I think there could be more goals, it's tonight. So it's a good night to try some things with the bargain bin special. Alex, we'll start with you. Where are you headed for the bargain bin?
So, yeah, we got 2 plays on 1 player. And like I said, Edmonton has to come out hot in this game if they're going to make a series out of this at all. And like I said, everybody's going to be looking for 97 and 29, of course. But I think we can go look down a little bit further. I'm looking at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to get a goal tonight. You can get that at plus 370 for him to score anytime. But I like him to get the first goal of the game as well. You get that at FanDuel at plus 2,100. So that's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for the Edmonton Oilers. Get things started off with the first goal of the game at 21-1, and just anytime goal also at plus 370. That's my bargain bin special for Game 3.
There you go. A little on both there. The Nuge first goal and just to score, which is bargain bin worthy too at plus 380 at FanDuel. Matt, bargain bin special. What do you got?
Yeah, so I also have a couple plays. I'm only going to make one of them my bargain bin, but it's all with the same players. So I know you've taken a shot on Sam Bennett the last few games. I like him to score tonight, so I'm going to be on his anytime goal. I'll also be on him to have the first Florida goal. So it doesn't matter if Edmonton scores first. That's plus 1,100 for him to have the first goal for the Florida Panthers. But my bargain bin, which I know he's on the second power play, so he's not going to get the first power play minutes. But Bennett power play point is plus 525. If you think this game turns into a track meet, maybe there's some chippiness, playover from Game 2. A couple power plays here and there. Maybe a 5-minute major gets assessed again. He'll get some time on the peeper. All he needs is an assist. Maybe he scores a goal and hits all 3 on an early power play. That'd be awesome. But Bennett power play point anytime plus 525. That'll be my official bargain bin take.
All right, so that's Sam Bennett power play point for the Florida Panthers plus 525 for Matt Robinson with his bargain bin special of the night. All right, Luke, bargain bin special. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm on Nuge too. I actually locked it in this morning at plus 360. I'm looking right now. He's plus 280. So it seems like there's other guys that are also on Nuge by the looks of those odds in the last few hours. That's anytime goal. I also like Bouchard anytime goal plus 350. I'm all in on Edmonton in the power play tonight, so I'm hoping I'm picking one of those guys to. I think one of those guys are going to have a big night. Obviously, fading Leon and Connor. It's kind of expected. If they don't have a big night, then there won't be anything going on. But I like Nuge to have a good game. Even I was just looking a little further down. With those new lines, like you were saying, Leon is going to be playing with. You mentioned was it Fogle?
McLeod and Holloway.
McLeod, right?
Yep.
Holloway, right? Yep. So I think they're both like plus 800 anytime goal. Like one of those guys, if you want to sprinkle a little bit of a flyer, maybe. But I do like Nuge, like Alex said. I think I was happy with that. The odds of the anytime goal today at 350 when I got it.
All right, so going with the Nuge as well, plus still some 380s. 380. That's where I locked it in. Plus 380, plus 370 now at FanDuel. But guess what? There's going to be 3 people on this show on the same bargain bin special because that is mine. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for the Edmonton Oilers. I got it at plus 380 at FanDuel. It's plus 370 right now. Yeah, that's another Forsling's birthday. That's another thought I had too as to why I've just got that hunch. Maybe he steps up, pots one from the blue line for Florida tonight. But yeah, for me, bargain bin special, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Edmonton Oilers plus 370 is still available at FanDuel. That is going to be my bargain bin special of the night. Put it this way. He's playing with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman on the top line. Do you know what the goal prices are for the other 2 guys? Plus 140 for McDavid, plus 120 for Zach Hyman. And you can get Nugent-Hopkins on that same line, plus 370. So that to me is just tremendous value. The Nuge for my bargain bin special. So we got Luke, Alex, and yours truly all on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins here in some form with the bargain bin special of the night. Matt's the Lone Ranger on Sam Bennett, a player other than the Nuge here tonight for the bargain bin special. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like here for best bet?
Yeah, like I said, it's a spot that I liked before the series even started, but definitely now with all the travel things that Florida had to deal with and the spot that Edmonton's in now, having to come out hot in this first 20 minutes. It's the first period over 1.5. You get it plus money at plus 105 right now, available at Bet Online. There's even money prices available all throughout domestic books as well. So let's go over 1.5 in the first period with Edmonton, Florida in Game 3 tonight. My best bet.
All right, there you go. First period over 1.5 at plus money there. Florida, Edmonton for Alex B. Smith with his best bet. Matt Robinson, what do you got for us best bet?
Yeah, so I had two options just in case Alex not took mine, but I just love the first period over as well. I'm just going to go on the game over. It's also something I got at BetMGM at plus 105. I think if there's 2 goals in the first, even better. But I could see this being a track meet. I think the odds are based on, series history so far. And I think tonight's the night. Edmonton picks it up, scores a few goals, and I don't think Florida's going anywhere with scoring a couple themselves. So, yeah, I could see a lot of goals tonight. So I'm going to go with the game over 5.5 plus money. Got to take it.
All right. There you go. Florida, Edmonton over 5.5. Slight plus price there for Matt Robinson and his best bet. Luke, what do you got for your best bet here tonight?
Yeah, I think I go back to what I said earlier. I'm going. I think best bet is Oilers to win, and then both teams to score 1 goal at plus 160, or Oilers to win and both teams to score 2 goals at plus 350. So I like both those. The more after talking, I like the over. So that 2 goals each with the Oilers win at plus 350. I think. That'd be a nice bet.
So you're going to go for the bigger payout with your best bet. You're going to go for that 2 goals each in Edmonton to win. You prefer that?
Yeah, I think so. The more we're talking about it, I clearly can see like a 4-2 game or a 4-3 game, even an overtime game. The hardest part of this bet, I think, won't be the goals. It's going to be Edmonton to win. So that's. I think those are just too good of odds to pass up on.
So Luke Adam is on both teams to score a goal and Edmonton to win plus 160, but he's going to try to take it one step further with the official best bet. Both teams to score 2 goals and Edmonton to win plus 360, the price on that for Luke with his best bet. My best bet, I'm going to go with Edmonton to score in the first period. It's either going to be that or the over. I feel like I'm going to, I think on the over in the best bet the first 2 games, even though I like it a lot more tonight. I'm just going to go Edmonton to score in the first period, minus 145. I do feel good about that they can get on the board the first 20 minutes. They have to, because Florida gets better and stronger as the game goes on. The first period, Edmonton's got to be the dominant team, or at least have the better of it, especially with Florida with the hellacious day of travel that they are coming off yesterday. So Edmonton to score a goal in the first period, minus 145. We're going to go with that for my best bet here for Game 3 tonight. A reminder, the BetCast is tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you join us for that. We're looking forward to it. Should be a great turnout. We don't know how many more BetCasts we're going to have. I don't think this will be our last one, but if it's a sweep, it will be. It all depends on if Game 5, there will be a BetCast next week. But again, will we get to Game 5? That's going to end up being the question. So Game 3 tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to it. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live Monday to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, and download the show or watch the show by downloading the True TV Plus app, which is available on all Roku, Amazon, and Apple devices. For Alex B. Smith, Matt Robinson, Luke Adam, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the game and good luck tonight. We'll be back for the BetCast tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Ice Guys.